Today on the Morning Edition, an early morning ceasefire agreement between Iran and Israel is already being put to the test. We've got the very latest on the situation in the Middle East and how the Trump administration is trying to stop the fighting.
And happening this morning, the NTSB is meeting in Washington to determine the probable cause of the mid-air door plug blowout that left a gaping hole in the side of an Alaska Airlines flight last year.
And later, sparkle your morning. Krispy Kreme's limited edition 4th of July donuts. They are here as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on a Tuesday. I mean, Krispy Kreme, hello.
A donut sounds so good right now.
It does. And it seems like every time they have these specials, we do check, local, and most of the time they offer them.
Yeah.
I need a baker's dozen here by 7 a.m. Preferably the kind that have cream in the middle.
Ooh, yeah,
so good.
That's good.
Waking up this morning, we do have some sunshine breaks across parts of South Central, but that cloudy conditions will remain with us, and we're still holding on to at least some showery weather sticking around parts of South Central. Not everyone will see those rain showers, but we are seeing an uptick in some of those showery conditions across South Central. And of course, as we wake up this morning, we are seeing those temperatures sitting right around 50 degrees. Winds remaining fairly calm, so it's a pleasant start to the morning, despite the cloud coverage that does remain with us across South Central. And you can see all across the state, we've got these cloudy conditions that have been taking hold across Alaska. We've got some foggy conditions as you head out towards Fairbanks. In addition to that, you can see some smoky and hazy skies. Palmer, those overcast conditions with temperatures sitting in the upper 40s. And then as you head out towards Ketchikan, we've got some cloudy conditions with some fog being reported as well. So many areas across the state beginning to see not only some cooler weather, but these cloudier conditions and showers spreading back across the state. Notice this band of rain that we're seeing pushing northwest across the Kenai. That is bringing some light rain showers in the forecast. It may clip southern parts of the Anchorage Bowl where we could see some light drizzle for the first part of the day. But overall, we're only going to be talking about some spotty to isolated showers for the rest of your Tuesday across South Central. We're still holding on to that flood advisory as you head out towards the Yetna and Skwitna rivers. That is in effect until 10 p.m. tonight, where we have been seeing some snowmelt causing some flooding, and then warm temperatures and bank erosion out towards the Matanuska River and Butte has also led to some high water breaking through the banks. That continues until noon Wednesday. We've seen several residences out in the Butte seeing those sandbags being put up to protect property where that water continues to rise. Those temperatures today warming near 60 degrees, so we're going to continue to hold on to this cooler weather pattern, and you can see just some spotty to isolated showers expected for the vast majority of South Central. I'll have more on that in that 7-day forecast coming up.
New this morning, several emergency crews responded to a collision last night involving a train and an ATV. Now, this is video from David Straub, who lives near the area. You can see those emergency vehicles. They were on scene, and the train in the background.
Now, this is just north of Sheep Creek Lodge around South Yancey Drive. We don't have a lot of details right now, but David describes what his neighbors heard when it happened.
He said he had heard what sounded like a collision on the Parks Highway. He lives on the west side of the Parks Highway at mile 90. Sounded like a 18-wheeler had hit something or something had come apart, and the 18-wheeler was clattering down the highway. And then he heard emergency vehicles heading this way.
And that's when David said he went to go check out what had happened and then came upon this scene here. Again, not a lot of details this morning as far as injuries, but we did reach out to Alaska State Troopers for more information. So be sure to check back at alaskasnewssource.com for updates.
Turning now to the wildfire danger happening across the state. One of the most dangerous fires in the state right now is the Bear Creek fire burning in the interior. Dangerous wind shifts on Sunday sent flames in multiple directions, threatening structures, power lines, and cell towers near the Parks Highway.
Our top priority is to secure the fire's edge along the highway and keep that transportation corridor open. At the same time as they're working on trying to protect as many of the structures there as they can.
The Parks Highway is open but has faced periodic closures. Long delays and pilot car escorts may still be in place. The Pioneer Peak Hot Shots performed tactical burning operations to protect homes and infrastructure. Borough Mayor Grier Hopkins praised fire crews for their efforts.
They were out there doing the work that saved those houses before the fires could burn them down. It was real miracle work from people who are putting in long, long hours.
Aerial crews have also been hard at work slowing the fire's spread, including the use of drones to identify spot fires and direct helicopter bucket drops.
Anchorage firefighters are on the move, deploying to help fight the Bear Creek fire near Healy.
7 members from AFD, joined by 4 Chugiak volunteers and 4 fire vehicles, are teaming up with state wildland crews this week. Officials say this deployment won't affect emergency response in Anchorage. 2 AFD members are already assigned to the fire.
And the first jet carrying wildland firefighters from the lower 48 touched down in Alaska on Monday. On board 4 Type 1 elite teams trained for the most demanding wildfire conditions. Now, these crews have already been assigned to fires across the state. A second plane carrying 4 more hotshot crews is scheduled to arrive tomorrow.
The Nelchina Glacier fire is now more than 2,500 acres and burning north toward structures near the Eureka Roadhouse, just 3 miles from homes off mile 128 of the Glen Highway.
Crews are staging pumps and hose lines while 2 National Guard Black Hawks drop water to slow the fire. Masticators are clearing some brush along mile markers 129 to 133 to create a fire break. Smoke remains visible, and drivers between mile 120 and 140 should slow down for safety. And cooler temperatures may be moving in, but burn permit suspensions remain in effect for the Matsuburo, Kenai, Kodiak, and Copper River fire areas.
State officials say large interior wildfires, dry conditions, unusually warm weather, and shifting fire crews have all factored into the decision to keep the suspensions in place.
Flooding in the Matsu is forcing businesses to close and residents to stay alert. Last week's heat triggered some rapid snow melt, and now buildings near the Matanuska River are taking on water, some spots even reaching up to 3 feet deep. Business owners are working to minimize damage, but many say they're bracing for more flooding in the days ahead.
We had a whole lot of people in the Butte area that stopped and helped us fill bags and move the bags around where they needed to go, which has been awesome. We've just had so much help, and it's just been a huge blessing to us to have everybody stop and help.
Officials expect repairs to be finished within 2 weeks.
The fight over Denali's name is back in the spotlight, and this time it's about a resolution that hasn't moved. For 4 months after it passed, Governor Dunleavy has yet to sign a resolution urging President Trump to keep the Denali name. His office says his signature isn't needed, but lawmakers say without it, the lieutenant governor can't forward the resolution to Washington.
I just assumed that as soon as the legislature passed it, that it would just happen. But I guess it's sitting on the governor's desk, and there's some there's a checkoff list that the governor has to do for this message to get sent to the appropriate people, which is like the president of the United States. Pretty big deal.
Now, the governor told Alaska's news source earlier this year he looked forward to discussing the issue with President Trump. While the governor's spokesperson did confirm Governor Dunleavy was in D.C. last week, she would only say the governor was there to discuss state business. No word on if the name change came up.
Up next, a major discovery tied to Alaska's early history, found thousands of miles away on the East Coast, how it could offer some insight into a journey that happened long ago.
And looking to catch some wind, a local kite club is making it easier to take flight by offering some of the best spots to soar in the air.
Rain showers remain with us across South Central. Cooler weather continues to spread across the state. I'll let you know just what to expect in the days ahead. But first at sunrise, 422 in Anchorage, 352 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Well, good morning, everyone. We are back on your Tuesday. And yes, we are live out looking at Katmai National Park for the bear cam, where we were told by our director that there was a bear in view, but then
I guess
it just kind of
it
went away.
must have moved. Yeah,
Camera
normally,
shy.
yesterday we saw some salmon jumping. I don't even see that. It's pretty quiet over there at Brooks Falls this morning.
But they'll be ramping up soon, hopefully. Aaron, good morning.
Probably enjoying some of that slumber with these cooler conditions spreading back across the state. And of course, we've got that unsettled weather, which is keeping some showers across Alaska. Still seeing that potential that areas of the eastern interior and south-facing slopes of the Brooks Range will still see that potential for some thunderstorm development. But here over the next couple of days, we really are going to see a lot of that thunderstorm activity suppressed and more in the way of some showers sticking around in the forecast. Wildfire activity does continue across the state, but the weather pattern for this week certainly going to be a lot more favorable for firefighting efforts as we continue to hold on to these cooler conditions and some rain showers. 48 in Bethel with some light rain, 56 in Fairbanks, where we are waking up to some fog this morning, 52 in Juneau. We've got some sunshine breaks as you head from Utqiagvik out towards Kotzebue, but you can see a good chunk of the state is sitting up under some overcast skies as we start off your Tuesday morning. And that is keeping some showers with us from southeast here in south central. You can see as you head northwest of Fairbanks, we do have a decaying thunderstorm that continues to lead to some heavier rain showers. And of course, out towards southwest Alaska, more in the way of some isolated to scattered activity. But you can see here over the next couple of days how we're going to continue to favor these chance for some showers sticking around a good portion of Alaska. But notice the eastern interior. We still see that potential that we could hold on to some thunderstorm development late afternoon and evening hours through at least Wednesday. And then things kind of quiet down as we see a bit more in the way of some showers building back in across the state. You can see by week's end, we're going to be watching a more organized system building into the Gulf of Alaska that will bring a better chance for some rain for coastal regions. And by week's end, we're also going to see a better return to some rain out towards southeast. And these showers will certainly be beneficial, particularly for the interior, where we're beginning to see abnormally dry soil pop up through parts of the interior. This is continuing to add to those dry fuels for that wildfire. But of course, with that showers that we do have in the forecast, that will help wet some of the soils. As far as what we're dealing with the past couple of months, we have been seeing above average precipitation, but that warmth that we did see for the past week to 2 weeks certainly dried out a lot of the vegetation across south central. We're currently sitting at the 6th wettest year to date. And while we are still seeing some showers in the forecast this week, by no means are we going to see rain each and every day. It's really just going to be some spotty to isolated activity until week's end. Temperatures out towards southeast, warming into the low to mid 60s with a chance for some showers. We've also got some patchy areas of some fog to start off your Tuesday morning. Upper 50s look likely across the Kenai out towards Kodiak. We'll also see the potential that we could see some areas of some breezy winds developing across parts of south central today. 46 in Valdez, 66 in Golcana. I do believe that should say 56 for Valdez. I'll correct that. 53 degrees in Whittier. And then into the valley, we've got those temperatures warming into the lower 60s. There's those flood advisories that continue through today. And then, of course, out towards the Matanuska River and Butte, that flood advisory expires by noon Wednesday. 61 here in Anchorage. Those winds will be quite gusty today. We may even be a little bit higher than 15 miles per hour. We'll have to watch that into the afternoon and evening hours, but be prepared for some gusty conditions later this afternoon. Temperatures as we close out June will likely stay in the low to mid 60s. And of course, by week's end, as we welcome in next week, we'll see a better chance for some organized showers building back across south central. So we'll watch that into the weekend and early next week. But if you're a fan of the cooler conditions and cloudier weather, this week is for you.
All right. Thanks, Aaron, for the update.
A ship belonging to one of the first explorers to map out Alaska has been found on the east coast of the United States.
Joe Allgood spoke with some experts about the significance of the find.
Captain James Cook, known for his travels in the Pacific and right here in Alaska, is getting some new attention after the discovery of the wreck of his first ship, the HMS Endeavour, found off the coast of Rhode Island, possibly leading to new insights about this fabled explorer. At the bottom of Newport Harbor rests the HMS Endeavour, Cook's first ship, scuttled by the British Navy to block supplies from reaching American revolutionaries. But while that was happening,
Cook actually left on his third voyage, which is the one we care about in Alaska, at the time the American Revolution was beginning.
Cook was tasked with finding the Northwest Passage, which he failed to do, but while doing it, mapped much of Alaska's coast, including the inlet that now bears his name.
He knew it was a one-way street, but just to satisfy his crew, he came all the way to Anchorage.
Though they spent little time on land, they did stop nearby for a, quote, possession ceremony.
In those days, the Europeans, like to dig holes, bury coins, drink a little porter, and declare land theirs. Sadly, the Europeans did that in lands that they considered uninhabited.
Cook's findings in Alaska would lead to a fervent fur trade.
So it's a mixed bag. It's kind of interesting, I don't think it's as clear-cut as history often is.
And a legacy captured in the names of places throughout Alaska, but far from the first one to arrive here.
I think it's important to have Indigenous voices talk about these sorts of issues and do it from a perspective that's more perhaps nuanced than history might have been taught in the past.
Now, with the new discovery, Cook's legacy sails on, for better or worse.
The old joke is Alaska history begins the day you got off the airplane. We have such a transient population that those of us that have lived here, born and raised, I think we could all benefit from knowing more about the history of the place, including the Indigenous people.
From where the Cook statue stands in Anchorage, he could have watched his own ship sail into the inlet. It's now also marked by a plaque bearing the Indigenous place names of the sites he saw then, and we still see today. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
Looking for a place to fly your kite this summer? Alaskiters has got you covered. The Kite Flying Club recently launched an interactive map of places it says people can soar across the South Central region.
Yeah, the list, it highlights spots from Homer to Wasilla to Valdez and beyond. One of the goals in creating the map is to inspire more young people to take part in the magic of kite flying.
Alaskiters has been around since the early 1990s in one format or the other. And hopefully, 40 years from now, we'll still be here in some fashion, which is why we try bringing in a new generation of younger flyers.
You've been listening to the Alaska's News Source podcast. Subscribe to have the latest episodes delivered to your library automatically.